first and only African to be conferred with the Fellowship of the Chartered Institute of Information Security, Chartered IT expert, Chartered Computer Scientists, Chartered Cybersecurity Professional, Fellow of the British Computer Society, Fellow of the Nigeria Computer Society, and current Chairman, World Summit on Information Society at the International Telecommunications Union, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Kwantami. The representative of the Minister of FCT, Malam Mohammed Bello, ably represented by the Egyptian ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. Shab Mustafa Awad. The Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Williams Alo Nwankwo.
No, ambassador is not representing FCT Minister. Just recognize His Excellency the ambassador.
Ladies and gentlemen, the ambassador is here in his capacity as the Egyptian ambassador, as a guest to the minister, and in his capacity as the Egyptian ambassador to Nigeria. You are most welcome, sir. Please, may we welcome him properly. You are most welcome, sir. May we have one house, please? The book reviewer who has joined us online, he is also the president.
Recognize you can follow through the program of event. Recognize people the program of event will tell you what to do.
Okay. With permission from the Honorable Minister, may I proceed to recognize the presence of the chairman and the CEOs of the parastatals and agencies under the purview of the ministry here present. We have here with us the chairman, governing board of the Nigeria Communications Commission, Professor Adeolu Akonde. We have here with us in no particular order, but with equal respect and regard, the Executive Vice Chairman, Nigeria Communications Commission, Professor Umar Garba Dambata. We have in our presence the Director General, National Information Technology Development Agency, Madam Kashif Inua Abdullahi, CCIE. The Managing Director, Galaxy Backbone, is also here in our midst, Professor MB Abubakar, Bello Abubakar. You are most welcome. The National Commissioner, Nigeria Data Bureau Protection Bureau, Dr. Vincent Olatunji, is also here in our midst. We also have with us the Managing Director, Nige Comsat, Professor Dr. Abimbola Alade. You are most welcome, ma'am. I will now call on my colleague to continue recognition of dignitaries seated here.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to recognize the presence of Malam Jilani Aliyu, MFR, the Director General, National Automobile Design and Development Council. I would like to recognize the presence of the Executive Secretary, National Universities Commission, Abubakar A. Rashid. Professor, okay, my apologies. Professor Abubakar A. Rashid. I would like to also recognize the Executive Secretary, National Board for Technical Education, Professor Idris Bugaji. And in no particular order, I would like to recognize the presence of the Vice Chancellor of University of Calabar, Professor Helen Obi. We also have in our midst the Vice Chancellor of Gombe State University, Professor Aliyu Usman El-Nafati. We have the Vice Chancellor of Federal University, Tertiary, Gombe State, Professor Umar Pati. We have the Vice Chancellor of University of Port Harcourt, Professor Owunari A. Goodwill. We have the Rector of Ogun State College of Technology, Dr. Adegoke, SAO. We have the Director ICT, Osun State College of Technology, Engineer Rotimi Oyeniran. The Vice Chancellor of UNILAG, University of Lagos, Professor Folashade Ogunshola. We have the Vice Chancellor of, I'm sorry, it says UMVP here, Kazina, Kaki. Okay, Professor Sanusi Moman. We have the Vice Chancellor of Bayero State University, Kano, Professor Sagir Adamu Abbas. Bayero University, Kano. My apologies. We have the Vice Chancellor, University of Ibadan, Professor Kayode Adebowale. We have Vice Chancellor of Bafemi Awolowo University, Ilefe, Professor Adebayo Simeon Bamire. Okay. We have the Postmaster General of the Nigerian Postal Service, Honorable Adepoju, here in our midst. At this point, we will continue recognizing dignitaries as we go on in the program. So at this point, I would like to invite the Chairman, Board of, and the Governing Board of the Nigerian Communications Commission, Professor Adeolu Akonde, to give the welcome address. Please put your hands together for him.
The Honorable Minister, Federal Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Patani, I seek your indulgence to stand on the established protocol, but it's a very long list. Good morning, everybody. We are gathered here today to witness a historic occasion, the ceremony for the award of contracts to drive the broadband agenda of the federal government of Nigeria. As most of you are aware, the National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy, NDEPS, a well-conceived roadmap of the Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy towards a digital Nigeria, was unveiled by President Muhammadu Buhari on November 28, 2019. It's important to point out that the pillars of NDEPS align with some of the economic recovery and growth plan of the federal government and the three key focus areas of President Muhammadu Buhari's vision on economic development. To deliver on the mandate of NDEPS, the Federal Executive Council recently approved the provision of broadband infrastructure network to enable deployment of high-speed wireless internet in tertiary and higher learning institutions and selected marketplaces across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. It is right that education in the 21st century increasingly requires strong and reliable access to the internet. Similarly, there is no gainsaying that the fact that broadband fosters GDP growth, creates jobs, and stimulates innovation while also enabling improvement in education, healthcare, and other social services. In this regard, the provision of broadband will not only impact on the digital literacy and skills pillar of NDEPs in the institutions across the country. Specifically, it will improve the quality of education in many ways, including encouraging innovation, creativity, economic freedom, and self-sustainability, as well as improve school management and administration. In addition, the rising of the Internet of Things and the connection of many remote areas have broadened the advantages of the Internet in teaching and learning. It will also help reduce the gap between those with and those without consistent, sufficient, and affordable access to the Internet, thus making Internet accessible, affordable, and available to all. The Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDA, has provided statistics to the effect that micro, small, and medium enterprises constitute about 90% of all business activities in the country. It is therefore not surprising that the NDEPs also seeks to encourage the building of a nation where digital innovation and entrepreneurship are used to create value and prosperity for all, and to ensure the development of a vibrant digital ecosystem that supports innovation-driven enterprises and MSMEs in a way that engenders innovation, which invariably increases the overall GDP of the country. This arm of the projects being awarded today is a recognition of the important role of the MSMEs in the Nigerian economy. The NCC believes that the provision of internet broadband infrastructure in marketplaces will greatly assist the Federal Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy in the implementation of NDEPs. I therefore look forward with keen interest to the successful implementation of these projects so that Nigerians can enjoy the huge benefits derivable from them. I thank you.
May we appreciate the Chairman Governing Board of NCC for that very supportive welcome address. Thank you very much, sir. At this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to call on the CEOs of parastatals and agencies under the purview of the Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, in no particular order, but with equal respect to their persons and offices, to give their goodwill messages. May I respectfully, with all respects, I would also like to inform the CEOs that goodwill messages have been approved by the HM for 2 minutes only. Thank you very much. In that vein, may I respectfully call on the Managing Director, Nigeria Communications Satellite, Dr. Abimbola Alale, for her goodwill message. You are most welcome. Please, may we welcome Dr. Alale.
Good morning, Your Excellency, the Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, the Digital Minister that has brought us to this point that we can be called a digital nation. All our invited guests, too numerous to mention, my digital brothers and sisters in the house, and gentlemen of the press, permit me to please congratulate the Honorable Minister and the entire ministry especially the NCC, for this initiative, because it is one of the dreams that the Honourable Minister brought to this ministry when he came in August 2019. And I'm very happy that we keep making giant strides, and the implementation of various programs that the Honourable Minister designed for each of the agencies under his purview is being implemented. So this one is also one of, this particular launch is also one of the projects that he's been driving. And we also welcome the Honourable Minister of FCT, the bosom friend of our Honourable Minister. And in addition, finally, I'd like to congratulate my Honourable Minister for the public presentation of this book, Skills Rather Than Just Degrees. It's one of the things he's been preaching over time, and I'm very glad that right now we can actually have it, read it, and also use it to nurture our young ones to develop their skills for a digital Nigeria. On this note, permit me to congratulate everyone. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you very much, the amiable Dr. Abimbola Alale. In that same respectful vein, may I request the pleasure of the Director General, National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, to give his goodwill message. Malam Kashif Inua Abdullahi, CCIE, you are most welcome, sir. Please may we warmly welcome him to the podium.
I mentor on my boss, the Honourable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, the Honourable Minister of FCT. Please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. Global wealth is not evenly distributed, and innovation happens in clusters. Honourable Minister always tells us 3 things drive digital economy: innovation, entrepreneurship, and skills. So to position Nigeria to drive value from this digital economy, what we are doing today is going to help us achieve that. The book talks about skills rather than certificates, because today we have realized that talents and skills are what helps country or lift countries out of poverty. If we really want to succeed as a nation, we should realize that what we have in our brain is the most greatest resources we have, not what we have underneath us in terms of natural resources. So all what we are doing in the ministry, just recently PwC came up with a report that justifies what we are doing at the ministry, saying that Nigeria, if it really wants to develop, the shortest way for Nigeria to develop is through exporting Nigerian brands. That means in terms of talent. It will help us to leapfrog. We don't need to follow the conventional way of development in terms of starting with manufacturing, low-end and high-end value manufacturing. So through innovation, skills, and talent, we can leapfrog. And also, broadband will help us to connect us to the global value chain. So the broadband we are launching today, if you combine it with this book, it will help us achieve digital economy. I want to congratulate Honourable Minister for this giant stride and all the parastatals under the ministry. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, DG NITDA. With permission from our special guest of honor, may I respectfully recognize the presence of the FCT Minister, Malam Mohammed Musa Bello. You are most welcome, sir. It is our delight to have you in our midst. In the same vein, may I extend the same courtesies to call on the Managing Director, Galaxy Backbone, Professor MD Abubakar, to give us his goodwill message. You're most welcome, sir.
The Honorable Minister, sir, our amiable and dynamic Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, and also the Minister of FCT, permit me to stand on the existing protocol, and your warning is well taken, sir. I think, firstly, may I use this opportunity to say that we are very happy, myself and also Galaxy, to be part of this very laudable event as it is today. And secondly, may I also use this particular opportunity to thank the Honorable Minister for linking us back to actually what it used to be that brought about our prosperity, both economically and elsewhere. Before, we used to pay much more attention in skills development. You will all agree with me then that actually everybody has a particular kind of job he's doing. In fact, I'm not a proponent of the fact that maybe perhaps our ladies are not also part of the production or what have you for that will bring about, that normally brings about economic development. Then, you know, me being maybe perhaps from the northern part, we know our ladies, they have these skills of developing firefighting, they have these skills of developing cotton wares and what have you. So it's only that through the process, through somehow the transformation of development, we lost that because the new jobs that appears are actually jobs that were not known before, and ultimately our people have not transformed with now the new jobs that have come in. Now with this book that has come up, the issue of paying more attention to the skills development is like taking us back to what was giving us the prosperity before. And specifically now that the direction is digital. The direction is digital. So now we cannot afford to again lose out. We just have to keep in and then make sure that we have developed the requisite skills that will make us now utilize the new direction globally. That is using technology, using the knowledge, and also developing the skills. So we thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for taking us back to that legacy that we used to have. And may I use this one to also congratulate everybody, particularly the Honorable Minister. My brother has already talked about the linkage between now the skills, that is the book, as well as the broadband penetration that we are witnessing today. They are going hand in hand. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, MD Galaxy Backbone. May I, at this juncture, quickly recognize the presence of the representative of the Director General, National Identity Management Commission, Engineer Chuks Onyekumuke. You are most welcome, sir. Let me respectfully call on the Postmaster General of the Federation, Honorable Sunday Adepoju, to give his 2 minutes goodwill message. Thank you, sir. Please may we welcome the Postmaster General.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Honorable Minister of FCT, CEOs, Vice Chancellors, other important dignitaries. Today, Honorable Minister, you have scored another first. Within the short time I joined the ministry, the agency, I've seen a lot of first that we have scored. I look at it, coming from the legislative side, having spent 8 years in the National Assembly, I keep on asking myself, this ministry, is it newly created? The ministry was there, but the person that is manning the ministry is the driving force. The power of creative thinking. What has not been obtained, the man has brought it there. Not a matter of age. Like they say, Solomon's age and wisdom has nothing to do with that of Methuselah. You have proved to the world that you are an encyclopedia of ideas. You've convinced the entire nation that Mr. President made no mistake of choosing you and put the right peg in the right hole. Nigeria will be happy having you. The book that you've authored is a book I think should be read in all Nigerian higher institutions. For people to know, even you having your PhD, having all those professional qualifications, there are other things you can think and create and work well. And this will even help us not to look down on those who does not have the opportunity of going to higher institutions because they have their own values. They can do better than PhD holders. You have taught us how to go about it. On this note, Mr. Fairs, I thank you. God bless you. Nigeria will need you.
Thank you very much, our brand new Postmaster General, Honorable Sunday Adepoju. Please may we appreciate Honorable Adepoju's honest words of praise for the Honorable Minister. May I respectfully call on the National Commissioner, Nigeria Data Protection Bureau, Dr. Vincent Olatunji, for his 2-minute goodwill message. Please may we welcome Dr. Olatunji.
The chief host of this event and the pioneer and leader of Nigerian digital economy, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, the Honorable Minister of FCT, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to rely on the already laid protocol. Today is another major achievement in implementing the Nigerian digital economy policy and strategies. You know that broadband provision is a major component of the activities laid out in the plan. Without effective broadband, we cannot have ubiquitous connectivity. Without ubiquitous connectivity, we cannot develop skills, we cannot develop infrastructures that will lead to achieving a national digital economy. So based on this, you all agree with me that this is a major component of our digital economy in the country. And it has happened under no other person than our very dynamic leader, Professor Ali Ibrahim Pantami. We'd like to congratulate you for this major feature. The book that has been launched today again, which lays credence to the fact that we need to rely on competence, skills, than certificates, shows that Nigeria is joining the rest of the world, the developed economies, where what you can do will earn you opportunities, earn you positions, rather than the certificate that you take about. There are some people that refer to us as unemployable graduates. They have certificates, they don't have skills, they cannot perform. But when you have certificates, you have skills. Even if you don't have certificates, you have skills, you can perform. That is why you can contribute to our sustainable national development. So, Honorable Minister, sir, for bringing this to life, we'd like to really commend you and congratulate you. It is not a surprise to me personally, because we know your capability, you know what you can do and what you are already doing. We only pray that God will give you more strength, wisdom to further take us to where we can really play a role in the global information society. Congratulations, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vincent Olatunji. Ladies and gentlemen, we have in our midst a few CEOs who have taken time out of their busy schedules to come and attend this event in support of the Honorable Minister and his digital transformation drive. May I respectfully call on the Director General, National Automotive Design and Development Council, Malam Jelani Aliu, to give us his brief 2-minute Goodwill, the world's best car designer. Ladies and gentlemen, please may we welcome one of our best brains.
Good morning, Your Excellency, Honorable Minister of Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, Honorable Minister of the FCT, Ambassador of Egypt to Nigeria, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, CEOs, and the press. I'm indeed very excited and honored to be here today to congratulate you, Your Excellency, on this marvelous achievement that you have brought not just to the ministry, but to Nigeria, to Africa, and to humanity. The opening up of connectivity to people across the country will definitely play a significant role in identifying those with talents in every nook and corner of Nigeria and giving them that opportunity to contribute to further development of our great nation. I'm again honored to be invited here, and it's a pleasure to be amongst the midst of people making history. Thank you, Excellency.
Thank you very much, sir. May I respectfully call on His Excellency, the Egyptian Ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. Shab Mustafa Awad, to give us 2 minutes of goodwill message. Please, you're welcome, sir. May we welcome His Excellency to the podium. You're welcome, sir.
Honorable Minister Pantami, dear brother, Honorable Minister Bello of the FCT, I would like to thank the Honorable Minister of Communication and Digital Economy for inviting me to this very, very important event. A dual-purpose event on the launch of the Broadband project, which I will not add much to what has been said about the importance of the very fact that Broadband will be introduced and will be commissioned. And also to the launch of his very, very important book on skills versus certificates only. And the title says it all about how important it is that we cater to developing the skills of our populations in order to meet the objectives and to be up to the challenge of our modern world. The very fact that myself as representing the government of Egypt is here today is testimonial to the progress, the major progress that has been achieved in our relations in the area of information technology, communications, and digital economy since the Honorable Minister has taken over the responsibility of the ministry here in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We have been working hand in gloves, the two ministers across the borders, in order really to put together a very viable framework of cooperation and collaboration between the two countries in very transformative and innovative areas of collaboration, between the two largest economies on the African continent. And this could have not been possible without the vision, the eagerness, and the ambitions of the Honorable Minister, and of course his willingness to put into good effect South-South cooperation in this very innovative and futuristic area for the future of our populations and the future generations. I thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for this invitation, and I'm honored to be amongst you today to witness this very important launch and commission. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I would like to crave your indulgence to recognize dignitaries here with us to continue the recognition. We have Professor Emen Sambo, the Director General CEO of the National Health Insurance Authority. You're welcome, sir. We would also recognize Professor Wahab Egbewole, the Vice Chancellor of University of Ilorin. We have Professor Omar Kiari Sandabe, Vice Chancellor, Borno State University, Maiduguri. We also have here with us Professor Ibrahim Hassan Garba, the Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, ATBU Bauchi, representing the Vice Chancellor. We have Professor Mrs. Nenna Oti, the Vice Chancellor, Federal University of Technology, Owerri. We have Adamu Umar Gokaru, the Executive Director of Finance, Galaxy Backbone, here with us. We have Aminu Bello Gusso from the Zamfara State Liaison Office, representing Mustafa Rafi Gumi. We have Engineer Rotimi Oyeniron, Director ICT, Osun State College of Technology. We have the Chairman Zynax, Chief Leo Stan Eke, here with us. We have Professor Joseph Nkechebelu, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Administration, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka. I think on this note we'll move to the next on the program, next item on the program. So my colleague will take over from me. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Please permit me, sir, to start. Sorry, sir. Okay, I'm Dr. Femi Adeli. I'm privileged to be the technical assistant to the Honorable Minister. I'm going to take the next session where we're going to have some of the people that reviewed the book come to speak here and review in person. I would like to invite the first person, who is the Vice Chancellor of the University of Port Harcourt, Professor Owunari A. Goodwill. I don't know if he's here. Please let's put our hands together for him as he does a 3-minute review of the book. Please keep clapping so that you'll come faster.
Your Excellencies, especially the ministers who are here present, the ambassador, the executive secretary, NUC, and other distinguished guests here present. The book, Skills Rather Than Just Degrees, by Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim, reveals the hidden treasures in communication and digital economy, such that the reader will have no difficulty in understanding the importance of skills communications, and digital economy, as well as the application of such knowledge to solving current societal challenges such as employability, unemployment, and underemployment in developing economies such as Nigeria. Skills rather than just degree is a masterpiece from a master digital strategist. It is written in 7 chapters. It has 19 figures, 6 tables, list of abbreviation and references. The book, in its very simple language, is very easy to read and understand. The author relied on his vast experiences acquired through various training degrees, certificates, and skills to put down the very essential information needed in this digital era. Briefly, in chapter 1, the book, in no unmistaken terms, states what skills are, what a workforce is, and the combination of skilled workforce as the ultimate goal for innovation-driven entrepreneurship in a rapidly evolving work environment. Chapter 2 quickly lays out the requirements of the 4th Industrial Revolution as skills for the future, which includes artificial intelligence, robotics, cloud computing, creative thinking, amongst others. In chapter 3, the erudite author provided case studies of selected countries and high-tech companies with robust statistics to take the reader through initiatives for promoting skill development, applications, adoption, policy formation, executive orders, and the production of highly skilled and competent employable citizens. He talked about the Gmail story, the Amazon, General Motors, Apple, Microsoft. They were all extensively discussed as global approaches in the tech ecosystem through innovation-driven entrepreneurship. In chapter 4, this erudite author used examples such as the Silicon Valley, Indian Institute of Technology, and our Nigerian's Yaba. He presented unique approaches to development of tough technical skills, wealth creation, and rising GDP per capita for countries and companies. Asa Ibrahim, in chapter 5, posited the bridging between the industry and the academia in such a way that it will enhance capacity development and creation of job opportunities. He expanded on the triple LX model to promote innovation, emergence of technical biotech companies, high-impact research with tremendous benefits of partnership between nations and high-tech companies. He proposed the academia-public sector industry API collaboration that will accelerate technological innovation, in which government will provide funding and policies, the academia will provide support with high-impact research and knowledge transfer, while the industry provides the skills and products. The author described corporate social responsibility as a win-win impact for all stakeholders. This chapter ends with the author's role in fostering many industry partnerships with high-tech companies such as Huawei, Microsoft, IBM, and the abundant benefits of these to governments, ministries, and agencies in Nigeria. In chapter 6, he lays out the benefits of MIT RIP in Nigeria and the development of skill, entrepreneurship, innovation, mentoring, startups, spin-offs, mass challenge, such as capacity development, as well as the Nigerian Startup Bill, which he was among those who were able to bring it up. In concluding chapter 7, this erudite scholar, this global IT citizen, and author of this book, drew the reader's attention to the crucial issues of the book. That is, the need for production of skillful graduates rather than graduates without skills. He reiterated the need to tilt the balance in favor of skills rather than just degree. Education curricular review, he said, was needed to ensure that digital skills, which form the foundation of innovation and entrepreneurship of the digital era, is emphasized to equip the certificate or degree holder with the requisite skills. The author's recommendation, if implemented, will transform educational institutions with focus on skill development, and lead to adoption of project-based learning, promote internships, mentoring, facilitate partnerships, promote investments in high-impact research and development, and in the overall, creates business-friendly environments that will attract indigenous and foreign investors into innovation and entrepreneurship in Nigeria and other developing countries. Professor Asa Ibrahim's book, Skill Rather Than Degrees, Just Degrees, is a must read from beginning to end. I have no hesitation in recommending this book to all men and women of goodwill all over the world. Every reader, whether in government, agencies, ministry, parastatals, whether student or in business, or an investor, or even administrators, will find this book as a worthy companion and a veritable source of information to change the ways things are done and transform our digital economy. The time to do away with production of an unemployable citizen is now. Skills, 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 rather than just degrees. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, VC of University of Port Harcourt. A must read, he says, I'm sure he's whet your appetite. Don't leave this place without the book today. Thank you so much. I'll call on the next reviewer, with the Vice Chancellor of Bayero University, Kano, Professor Sagir Adamu Abbas. Please, sir, can you, please let's put our hands together as it comes to you. Remember, the harder you clap, the faster he comes. Please clap.
The Honorable Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, Honorable Minister, FCT, the ES, NUC, other important personalities on the high table, my colleagues, Vice Chancellors and other important dignitaries here present. Good afternoon. My brother has already given a comprehensive review of the book that has, or is about to be launched now. I was privileged to be among the first to read the draft given to me by the Honorable Minister, which was an honor to me. What I would like to add, in addition to what has been said, is that the book, as it has been mentioned, is a must read to all of us, to all Nigerians. This book will take Nigeria or Nigerian economy out of the situation we find ourselves. Instead of emphasizing qualifications, if Nigerians will emphasize skills, all our ministries, all our prestators, and I believe this has been what the ESMBT has also been saying for quite a while, will take Nigeria out of the situation we find ourselves. Qualification is personal to all of us. If we all die, we go with our qualification. None of our family members will take the qualification and use it for job. But the skills we have, where we went to work, or what we produce, or what we do, will definitely leave behind us, and people will benefit from what we do. And this is exactly what has taken many countries out of economic hardship. If you look at countries around the world that are progressing at the moment, it's the skill emphasis that is taking them out of the situation they find themselves. So really, and it's an honor for me to read this book, and I've been asking the minister when is this book going to be launched, because the benefit to Nigerians is enormous. And I believe if we go back to what the minister has captured, I was shocked when I was reading the book, because despite his tight and busy schedule, he still finds time to write something like this. And I was shocked. Sometimes I was hesitant to call him around 1:30. And he told me that this is the best time for him to work. So it's a shock to me. And I was surprised when I saw the book. So please, this book should be given a very, very wide circulation, not only to universities. All Nigerians must have this, all prestataries must have this, so that we now emphasize on skills rather than qualification. Because if we do that, this will take us out of the situation. Because if you are employing somebody in your working place, if you come with tons of qualification and publications, that may not add value to the place where you are going to occupy. You are meeting a place, what will you do to move the place forward? That is the emphasis. And we look at your experiences, your skills. These are the things that we require to move this country forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor for me. As I said, my senior brother has already given a comprehensive review of this very important book. I also emphasize it's a must read to all Nigerians, and if this has been launched, the value of it should be taken to all places so that people will use it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Adamu. He has also emphasized the importance of this book being a must read. And he showed the nexus between skills and the economy. Every country is interested in building the economy. And he has said that we should read this book to help our economy as a country. I'll now invite the Executive Secretary of the National Board for Technical Education. We know that the MBT is so strong on skills. I would like to invite him, Professor Idris M. Bugade, to come and give some remarks concerning the issue of skills as he talks about some parts of it. Let's put our hands together. Don't let this distract you. They are very skillful, they'll get it done.
Come up and then we can do it. Thank you very much.
The Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, the Honorable Minister of the FCT, Chief Executives of parastatals and the private sector here present, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to please stand on the existing protocols. Well, we are here to do two very important things: to celebrate this very important book, and also to celebrate the broadband, which is being commissioned today. These are very important milestones. The broadband, if I start with that one, is very critical for tertiary education. I remember while I was director of Kaduna Polytechnic in 2019, we attempted to create intranet by connecting our 4 campuses in Kaduna. We put an LMS, a learning management system, and so that we reduce movement of students. But our big challenge was payment for connection to the internet. We went to Glow, we went to MTN, we got all the quotations. I said there is a government agency, what do you call it, Madam? NICOMSAT. In fact, the quotation we got from NICOMSAT was even higher than that of the MTN. So it just became a project that we could only use as an intranet, no access to the internet. But with this, that infrastructure cannot be fully utilized. So we're most grateful, Honorable Minister, for this major milestone. The second one concerning skills, this book has come at the most appropriate time, because globally, the world economy is being driven by skills. And this fits with the MBTE flagship on skills development. Our motto, as you all know, is skills, not degrees. We are not saying we don't want degrees. The NUC, we are struggling with them to give us MTech for HND holders. But we are trying to give emphasis so that Nigerians would understand that it's not enough to have a degree. It's not enough to have a diploma. Our graduates must acquire skills. MBT is driving dual certification of Nigerian students. There is a lot of resistance in Asia being exhibited. It's not enough you give somebody an ND, give him certificate on a particular skill. Because today the big players, Amazon, Microsoft, Oracle, name them. If they're giving you a job, wallahi, they will not ask for your degree or diploma. They will ask for your portfolio. What have you designed? What apps have you developed? These are the things they look at. I know of a young boy, the classmate of my son, whose father died just before he finished his secondary school. He couldn't proceed to higher education. He got a part-time job in this, business center. He had access to the internet. Within 2 years, he acquired several certifications on IT skills. Today, he is in Dubai. 24-year-old in Dubai, freelance. He had moved his mother and siblings to Dubai and is moving around the Middle East, giving services because of skills. He has no degree, he has no diploma, but he has acquired the relevant IT skills. Nigerian youth, this book is going to open the eyes of Nigerian youth to the value of skills. And I'm praying that this book will be given very wide circulation. We in the MBT would like to have as many copies as the Honorable Minister may wish to give to us, so that every polytechnic library should have this book, and every Nigerian youth must buy into it. There is another project of the Honorable Minister of Education, Malang Adam. He has approved for the MBTE, a project that he called NYSE. Not NYSC, please. NYSE. Nigerian Youth Empowerment, Nigerian Youth Skills Empowerment Program. That empowerment program is supposed to train Nigerian youth in selected polytechnics, give them the relevant skills, and facilitate their migration across the globe, so that they will go and have a good living and bring in foreign exchange to Nigeria. This can only be done through skills acquisition. Today, Nigerian youth are crossing the Sahara, crossing the Mediterranean at great risks, many of them dying on the way. By the time you give them skills, they will be welcome across the world with red carpets. India is already benefiting greatly from that. Today, India, through migration of skilled labor, they have produced a sitting vice president in the United States. They have produced a sitting prime minister. These were migrants, but with skills. If Nigerian youth can be empowered with skills, we will be able to perform even better than the Indians. So congratulations, Honorable Minister, for this very important project. MBT wishes to join you in celebrating it. MBT wishes to join you in promoting it across the polytechnics and the entire TVET sector in Nigeria. We wish you all the best. And finally, sir, let me observe that while some ministers were busy trying to succeed their governors, some even trying to succeed Mr. President, our Minister of Communication was busy adding to scholarship by producing this book. We need to give him a very big round of applause. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, ES. Thank you very much for validating the importance of skills and the issue of broadband. Thank you so much. Next, we're going to have another person to review. This person actually wrote the foreword to the book. The person is no other than Mr. Brad Smith, the president of Microsoft Corporation. I'm sure Microsoft needs no introduction to many of us here. Many of us have one Microsoft product to another. But one other thing you need to know is that Microsoft is a company that invests a lot in research. Microsoft is a company that is, yes, 46 billion USD in research. Imagine that. That's more than the budget of many African countries. So they're very committed to the issue of research. They're committed to skills. And the president of Microsoft read this book, and he was so impressed by the book that he wrote the foreword, and he also sent in a review. So I'd like you to just relax and watch as the media plays the review by Mr. Brad Smith, the president of Microsoft Corporation. Media, over to you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brad Smith, the president and vice chair of Microsoft. It's a pleasure for me to join you today. I was in Nigeria earlier this year. Today, I'm in my home, Seattle, Washington, where it's Thanksgiving, an American holiday. But I'm delighted to be part of it, what you're talking about today, because I think the issue that has brought you together is such a fundamentally important issue everywhere around the world. It really speaks to the future opportunities for people everywhere. How do we make the paradigm shift that we really need to think about from a future focused solely on degrees to a future focused on skills? That's what this book is about. I had the opportunity to read the book earlier this year, and I was fascinated by how it addresses the issues that I see every day in my work at Microsoft in every country around the world. Because one of the things we see so frequently is a mismatch. Employers are looking for one thing, employees have something different to offer. And as a result, jobs are created, but they remain open too long, and people get degrees, but they spend too much time trying to find a job. How do we close this gap? Well, in so many ways, I found that reading this book provided a user's manual, if you will. A user's manual for individuals to think about their future, a user's manual for employers and companies like Microsoft, how we think about navigating through this new world of skills, a user's manual for governments, for the future of education, and for the future of public policy. And while this issue is important everywhere, I think it's even more interesting in some ways across Africa. Because Africa, as you know, not only has 1.3 billion people, but with a median age less than 20, it has the youngest population on the planet. And so this issue is fundamentally about the future of Africa and every country in it. We see this at Microsoft. We see it in our African development centers in Nigeria and Kenya, where we're able to hire such extraordinary and promising talent, and where we'd like to hire even more people. But the key to the future for us and for all of Africa is helping people develop and harness and then really document the skills and credentials that they've obtained. We also see this through our service, LinkedIn, that we own and operate. LinkedIn has become, in so many ways, the largest and premier destination on the planet for people to go out and identify new skills, develop those skills, and obtain credentials so they can show employers the skills that they have. In short, this book, to me, speaks very clearly in things that I have the opportunity to address every day. And I hope it will speak to you. I hope that you can find in it, as I did, something that we can all learn from, apply, and put to use. Work together, building a better future for Nigeria, for Africa, and for the world. Thank you for letting me be part of this.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brad Smith. I'm sure we're all excited that someone as globally relevant as that is praising the book. Mr. Brad Smith is someone that even the founder of Bill Gates has a very high regard for. He had a book recently that he wrote, and the founder of Microsoft, Mr. Bill Gates, attributed a lot of the success that we have in Microsoft today to the efforts of Mr. Brad Smith. So just to give you a context as to the type of person that has reviewed the book. And New York Times actually talks about Mr. Brad Smith. Apart from being the president of Microsoft, he's seen as a technology ambassador. So most companies that want to engage with governments actually go to Mr. Brad Smith, and he has that level of respect globally. So I'd like us to put our hands together again as we recognize what he has done. Thank you so much.
A very warm thank you to all the globally renowned names who have excellently and professionally reviewed this wonderful book. At this juncture, may I call on His Excellency, the Honorable Minister for FCT, Malam Mohammed Bello, to give us his remarks. Please, may we welcome our Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, to the podium. You're most welcome, sir.
Honorable Minister for Communications and Digital Economy, Your Excellency, the Egyptian Ambassador, Chief Executive Officer of Zynox, all the very distinguished guests present here, with specific mention of the Executive Secretary of the National University Commission and the Executive Secretary of the MBT. I am sure that will represent quite a big spectrum of those that are here. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I came in with a prepared speech, but seeing the array of professors here, especially on the high table, I decided to jettison the speech and just speak, because I don't want to read something that some of my teachers here would say that I have done wrong. But we thank God Almighty for having made it possible for us to be here for something that is very, very significant, and also for launching a book written by somebody who epitomizes what we say or what we read. Once you have hard work and passion, the result is success. But I might just add here that once you have hard work and passion and the right age, the right young age, then success is guaranteed. Like I said, I don't intend to say much, but just to share with you what happened this morning. Before I came in here, I was in the Congress Hall of this hotel, where I represented the President in the launch of the financial inclusion by the Central Bank of Nigeria. And what became very glaring and very clear is the role of digital economy in financial inclusion. And mention was made of the Honorable Minister and his very able agencies, particularly how the improvement in broadband penetration and a lot of activity in the digital environment has really created the enabling environment for financial inclusion. And particularly also the tremendous expansion in personal identity of Nigerians during the last 2 years to a figure of almost over 90 million has definitely been a game changer. So the point is we are on the right track, and we're very lucky to have a team headed by Professor Isa Ibrahim. Isa Ali Ibrahim. Sometimes I mix up his name because the pantomime name has taken over all the three names. But having just said that, I think we are at the right time, and I think we have the right people to drive this, and it's very, very important. And I want to congratulate you. And also, in my relationship with him, as a friend and as a brother, and also as a member of the Federal Executive Council, he has come with very unique attributes and capacities. And sometimes I tell him that the only problem with him is that he's too fast. But we allow him to do that. And sometimes when we want to stop the conversation, we tell him that, well, we are analog, we are digital, so just allow us to be what we are. And then finally, sometimes I'll also tell him, when he pushes me too much, I say, okay, don't worry, come back in 14 years and let's discuss. And he will explain maybe what that 14 years means, But having said that, I think as part of our contribution in the Federal Capital Territory, I want to tell you that I've had a lot of conversation with him and with Professor Ambata regarding the issue of broadband penetration and how subnationals in Nigeria can really fast-track this. And as part of this conversation, we've looked at it thoroughly, and I want to just tell the Honorable Minister today, as part of our contribution to broadband penetration, starting from 1st December 2022, for the next 2 years, the FCT will charge only 14 naira 50 kobo per linear meter for all telecommunication companies that want to deploy broadband within the FCT in green fields, in green areas. If I say green areas, I mean areas where we have not already established the infrastructure for that. Because as you know, in the city of Abuja and even some of the satellite towns, all our roads have been constructed to have embedded in them, pathways for fiber optics, for gas, for water, for power, and other telecommunication and other infrastructure. So for these ones that have already been constructed, obviously we have to charge something, and I think the NCC are very much aware of that. But for any new area, any green field where the National Economic Council has agreed on 145 naira per linear meter, we are knocking off 90% of that, and we'll just take only 10%, which is 14 naira 50 kobo. And even that 14 naira 50 kobo, we are just taking it because I understand in contract there has to be a consideration, and if the consideration is zero, maybe there is no contract, so we just take it at that. And with that, I do hope that all the telecom companies will use this opportunity. The window is for 2 years, and I think there is enormous opportunities here in the FCT for you to really massively deploy so that we can really leapfrog this development of this broadband in the country. Thank you very much for your time.
I have always seen the Honorable Minister for FCT as a very serious person. I have never known that he has such a wonderful sense of humor. Each time I see him, he has an official face, very straight face. So it is a relief to actually see that Professor Pantami has the ability to make people who don't even smile in public laugh. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for the warm remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the crux of the matter. Our special guest of honor, my boss, Professor Pantami. I know that there are a lot of events and a lot of issues that are already waiting for you in the office, but I would beg you to allow me re-establish your credentials. Having heard everything that has been said about our special guest of honor and chief host, there is really nothing to add other than to agree that Professor Pantami is a tech-volutionary icon. Let me, with all due respect, re-establish the credentials of the Honorable Minister as I respectfully request his presence to perform the triple function of giving his much-awaited speech, launching 4 functions, sir. Okay. When you have a teacher for life, you will always be perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure and honor to request the presence of our one and only tech-volutionary icon, Nigeria's digital transformation driver, the Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy of Nigeria. He is a chartered IT expert. He is a chartered computer scientist. He is a chartered cybersecurity professional. He is a fellow of the British Computer Society. He is a fellow of the Nigeria Computer Society. He is a fellow of the Institute of Information Management. He is a fellow of the African Institute for International Relations and Diplomacy. He is the sitting chairman, World Summit on Information Society at the ITU headquarters in Geneva. And by divine and natural causes, he happens now to be a son of the soil of an oil-producing state. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantami, Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Nigeria, to give us his speech unveil the book on skills rather than degrees. Please, let's keep clapping until the Honorable Minister gets here. Thank you very much. You are most welcome.
My elder brother, the Minister of FCT, Malam Muhammad Musa Bello, and I do hope that if the Almighty extend my life for the next 14 years, I will be able to come back to you, and I will take the next line of action to be taken. The Egyptian ambassador to Nigeria, His Excellency Ambassador Mustafa Ihad, my colleague, the Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, my good friend and brother as well, the Executive Secretary of the National Universities Commission, also our elder brother, Professor Abdul Rashid Abubakar. Permit me to also recognize our host here, the chairman of the Nigerian Communications Commission, my good friend, Professor Adeyolu Akande, and also the executive vice chairman of NCC, Professor Omar Garba Dambata. Both of them serve as the host representing the federal government in the event. Other CEOs under the supervision of the ministry here with us, the executive secretary of NBTE, Professor Bugaji, also the Director General of the National Health Insurance Authority, Professor Sambo, and also my friend and brother, the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Commission, Malang Mele Kari, my good friend and also brother, also the DG of Automotive Design Institution, also with us here, Malan Jelani Aliyu, our respected Vice Chancellors. I could not be able to mention all of you by name. I have a tremendous respect for all, but permit me to recognize some of you specifically, my Vice Chancellor, the Vice Chancellor of the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, the Iron Lady, Professor Inena Oti, and the three reviewers of the book, starting with the Vice Chancellor of Bayero University, Kano, Professor Abbas Adamu, and the Vice Chancellor of University of Port Harcourt, Professor George Will, and also my Vice Chancellor from my alma mater university, Professor M.A. Abdul Aziz, who is unavoidably absent, but being represented here by the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Garba. Industry players with us, as I can see many. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, all other protocols duly and respectfully observed. Good afternoon to all of you, and may peace, mercy, and blessings be upon you. It gives me a great pleasure to stand before you for 4 important functions. Number 1, broadband infrastructure for our higher institution of learning. Number 2, broadband infrastructure for our micro, small, and medium enterprises. Number 3, distribution of EPAD tablets, 6,000 EPAD tablets. And number 4, unveiling my humble effort in documenting this book, Skills Rather Than Just Degrees. As you all know, we have developed the National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy for a Digital Nigeria, which was unveiled and launched by our principal, President Muhammadu Buhari, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, on the 28th November 2019 at the International Conference Center, Abuja. In that policy, there are 8 pillars. Pillar number 3 speaks on solid infrastructure, and under solid infrastructure, broadband penetration is key. In order to simplify the implementation of that policy, we came up with other policies. For example, the Nigerian National Broadband Plan 2020 to 2025. In that document also there are 4 pillars. Pillar number 1 is infrastructure, number 2, policy, number 3, demand drivers, number 4, funding and incentives. So in that Nigerian National Broadband Plan 2, pillar number 2 speaks on broadband penetration. Today, all over the world, there is no way we can promote our education, and there is no way we can promote commercial activities without broadband. It's impossible. It is because of this, the World Bank report of 2022 clearly stated that if we will be able to increase broadband penetration globally to around 75%, that will automatically catapult the global gross domestic product by a minimum of 2 trillion USD. Today, the global broadband penetration stands around 64% because the population of the world reached 8 billion on the 15th November 2022, just this year, this month. If you look at the statistics, around 5.3 billion people connected, while 2.7 approximately unconnected. And the percentage you will discover, around 64% of the world population connected, and by implication around 36% unconnected. So if we can increase this 64% by 11% minimum to reach 75%, that will increase the global GDP by a minimum of 2 trillion USD. In addition to creating around 133 million new jobs for our global citizens. It is because of this, and if you look at the lessons we have learned during COVID-19 pandemic, there are many better and bitter lessons. The bitter lessons we have learned in the developed countries and other developing countries, even during COVID-19 with lockdown, their activities educationally continued. But in other developing countries, most of our institutions, from primary, secondary to higher institutions of learning, were shut down. Why? Because of the challenge of connectivity, among others. It is because of this reason that in the telecommunications sector, as we all know, there is a provision in Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007 as amended under Section 22, subsection 1, that if institution of government generates revenue, they are to return 20%. While in Section 22, subsection 2, it states that 80% of that should be remitted to government. In the telecommunications sector, we were able to recover and generate certain amount of money, remitted 80% to government, based on the approval of our principal president, Muhammadu Buhari, on one hand, and also the budgetary provision approved by the National Assembly on the other. We decided to sacrifice this 20% to our institutions of learning and our small and medium enterprises. The total amount at that time was around 41 billion naira. Instead of increasing our benefits and allowances for our staff and others, we had a meeting with the chairman, NCC and EVC, and we all agreed, let us prioritize the interests of Nigerians over the personal interests of the stakeholder within the sector. So by implication, that 41% we decided not in any way to agitate for any increase in allowances and other benefits restricted to our sector, but rather to sacrifice it in totality to our education and our commercial activities. Firstly, I presented a memo before the Federal Executive Council on the 28th of October 2022, seeking for approval to provide broadband infrastructure unlimited to some selected higher institutions of learning as phase 1. 18 of them as phase 1. The Federal Executive Council, after a very robust deliberation, approved the memo with a sum of 16,703,863,327 naira, granting us the permission to go ahead and provide broadband to these selected higher institutions of learning. On the other hand, also, on that very day, I presented another memorandum to provide broadband connectivity to our markets to support our micro, small, and medium enterprises. On that very day, on the 26th October 2022, that one was also approved. After the approval, I directed the National Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, to implement both of them on behalf of the federal government of Nigeria. In this phase 1, each university will approximately benefit with the broadband infrastructure unlimited, approximately around 400 million naira. This is a minimum amount. Each university will benefit from that. And the same with our markets. The universities, or rather the higher institutions of learning we have selected are 3 per geopolitical zone. So 3 by 6, you will get 18. Starting with the North Central, the FCT Minister is here to permit me to begin with the University of Abuja. Then number 2, University of Ilorin. Number 3, Federal University of Technology, Mina. These are the 3 universities from North Central. From Southeast, with the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, Imo State. University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Oka. These are 3 from Southeast. From South-South, we have University of Port Harcourt. The VC is here as a reviewer. And also University of Benin. Which one is the last one? And also University of Calabar. Thank you very much. In the Southwest, we have University of Lagos. I have seen the immediate past VC when I came in. And also Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. And the third one in Oyo State. ES looks at me, and I know the reason. Firstly, ES permit me to remind you that in 2022, we are constructing a world-class digital economy center in University of Ibadan because of the personal interest you have there. And this center will consume a minimum of 1.2 billion naira. So it's ongoing, and it's part of this 2022. Thank you very much. It is because of this we consider the Federal College of Education technical in Oyo for this broadband penetration, so that other institutions of learning outside the university system will not, at least in any way, complain. At least one of them has been considered. ESMBTE, apologies, we will have another meeting with you. I know that one, we will have another meeting. While in the Northwest, we have Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Bayero University, Kano, and also Umar Musa Adua University in Katsina. Then Northeast, we have my alma mater, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, Borno State University, and Gombe State University. These are the 8 universities we have outlined for the first phase of the project. That is just the beginning, and we do hope that all other institutions of learning particularly universities at the federal level, including at the state level, if the funding is sufficient, will also benefit from that. When it comes to markets, we have selected 20 of them, 3 per geopolitical zone, while the remaining 2, one from Computer Village in Lagos, because that is very passionate to me, and also Wuse Market in Abuja, and the FCT Minister is here on behalf of all the 20 markets. The issue of supporting our markets is also very important and is also key. If you look at it statistically, our micro, small, and medium enterprises in Nigeria so far are up to 39.3 million, according to the report of Asmedan. 39.3 million micro, small, and medium enterprises in Nigeria. Secondly, according to that report of our 2020, just prior to COVID-19, they contributed 46.7% of our GDP in Nigeria. By implication, almost half of our gross domestic product is from micro, small, and medium enterprises. When it comes to all the businesses we have in Nigeria, micro, small, and medium enterprises comprise 96.7%, contrary to the statistic mentioned by the NCC board chair. 96.7% of our entire businesses in Nigeria are under micro, small, and medium enterprises. So any effort to develop our economy without bringing them into the equation, the success is absolutely difficult to be attained. It is because of this we intend to implement a model that has been advocated by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, which has been entitled as IDE, that is Innovation-Driven Enterprises. At the time, many countries and many universities and other institutions were promoting small, medium enterprises. MIT was a bit proactive, agitating for IDA, Innovation-Driven Enterprises, by trying to give global visibility to your enterprises, the smaller ones. It is because of this, what MIT has attained as a university today, more than 90% of the world countries did not attain. The GDP of MIT, according to a research conducted since 2016, entitled MIT Nation. In that research, it shows that the collective GDP of serial entrepreneurs of MIT as a university collectively was more than the GDP of India as a country with a population of 1.33 billion people. The collective GDP then was little higher than 2 trillion USD. At that time, India was 1.9 trillion. So if MIT were to be a nation, it could be the 10th largest economy globally. Because even Nigeria, the largest economy in Africa, is just around 515 trillion USD. So by implication, the GDP of MIT alone is almost 4 times the GDP of Nigeria as a country with a population of 220 million people approximately. How did they achieve this? It's through giving that global visibility to micro and small enterprises. This is indeed very important. We want to implement that model in Nigeria. It is because of this we initiated the process that brought about the Nigeria Startup Act 2022, which I presented before the Federal Executive Council on the 15th December 2021, and it was assented by Mr. President on the 19th October 2022. It becomes a law today. If you look at the content of the Nigeria Startup Act, is to promote this part of it is our micro, small, and medium enterprises, our young innovators, our startup, among many others, by incentives, financial support, seed funding, tax holiday, intellectual property, patent, and many more. This is what we intend to promote. So under micro, small, and medium enterprises, For the first one, we have a provision of covering 20 markets, including Wuse market here in Abuja. The third one to be unveiled here, which we have started the distribution since, and I believe many institutions have so far benefited. On the 6th of December 2021, I also presented a memo before the Federal Executive Council for the procurement of e-part tablets for distribution all over the country, particularly to our institutions, either academic institutions or public institutions. The Federal Executive Council approved at the price of 1.96 billion naira. And we were able to purchase 6,000 tabs at that level. And this is also to be being implemented by NCC. Most of the institutions benefited with 100 tablets. However, few, 1 or 2 places benefited with 200. This is to support the institutions and to encourage them with that intervention to at least try to get more so that we will be able to operate virtually and also digitally. Many institutions have received and some are yet to receive. I allowed the implementation to commence because of time constraint. And it is because of this, the formal presentation is going to be conducted today. So far, under that category, 58 institutions have so far benefited from that intervention. This is the third one in which the MC has left it out. And I drew her attention saying that 4, not 3. Number 4 is just my humble effort of coming up with this book, skills rather than just degrees. In the course of writing the book, I have engaged the Executive Secretary of National University Commission through so many discussions and also indirect interview to identify what are our challenges today in our universities and which effort is being made in order to address. The ES needs to be commended. He gave us all the necessary support to ensure that I come up with the draft copy of the book. And also, he even gave me another privilege of reviewing the entire curriculum of ICT-related courses to be taught in Nigerian universities. The first day we started discussing the book, it was in 2019, during the convocation of Nile University when I was invited as the graduation ceremony lecturer. We started the discussion then. And I could recall, we discussed the issue of unemployment many times with the ES of MBTE as well. I think our discussion with him for over 6 years today. I think since when he was even, Rector Kaduna Polytechnic, we have been discussing how to bridge the gap between academia, industry, and government. And that is why in the book I focus more on the implementation of triple helix model. And this is indeed very important. In the book, I am not in any way discouraging obtaining certificates. I am not in any way doing that. I am a beneficiary of certificates. And I have obtained many. At least I have BTech, I have MSc, MBA, PhD. And I had the privilege of attending some of the best universities in the world to obtain their certificate, like IMD, MIT, Harvard University, Oxford University, Cambridge University. I obtained the certificate of all these institutions through various trainings and programs. But what I'm trying to promote is the fact that if certificates are empty, then the aim of obtaining them has been defeated. Secondly, our priority and preference while admitting students or teaching students is not about the certificate. The priority should be the training and the skills to be acquired. And thirdly, globally today, curriculum is not very static, it's very flexible. The way it is being implemented in India Institute of Technology. There must be a form of flexibility because the way job requirements are changing week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out, it is absolutely difficult to get time and review it collectively and endorse it for implementation. There is need for a form of flexibility where we will be able to accommodate any new idea that is required. Thirdly, priority and preference today in the whole world when it comes to recruitment is given to soft skills. This should be our priority, to teach our students critical thinking, analytical thinking, collaborative thinking, technical presentation, presentation skills, teamwork, creativity, among others. Soft skills are what is being required today when it comes to job. Even hard skills should come after soft skills. And we also need to teach our students even social skills, how to interact with people. It is indeed very important because some of our students will graduate without even learning the basic ways of interacting with others. Just thank you, can I help you? Don't look at who is coming behind you. You enter into a place, hold the door for him to come. He will appreciate you. And it is more of a mutual respect between teacher-student. That is how it should be. So these are some of the issues, and I came up with so many models to show to us why this is the way out. And I also emphasize in that book that our major challenge in Nigeria is not only unemployment, though we have the challenge of unemployment. However, the major challenge is unemployability, where there is a serious mismatch between the quality of our citizens graduating and the job opportunities available globally. If you are looking for job opportunities today, don't look at only Nigeria. The opportunities are there globally. If you have the skills, then it is not difficult for you to get employed. Just a simple example, Elon Musk took over Twitter and he sacked some of the staff most senior. He had to go back and lobby some to come back. Why? The company couldn't operate without them. He did not ask for their certificate. And in order to show that he recalled them, he had to snap a picture and share it online that they are back and I have apologized to them. This is the value of skills. And in the book, I also narrated a story of my brother, Jelani Aliyu. He was recruited by General Motors in the US. They have never asked him about his CV or which university did you attend. They were only after what he could be able to do physically. He demonstrated that and they employed him. Up to the time we recall him back to Nigeria, they have never asked him about the university he has attended. Are we on the same page? And he's here to confirm. They have never. Why? We must try to ensure that we prioritize the training over the certificates. Recently, one of our citizens went to his university, returning his certificate and requesting them to pay him his school fees. This is the problem. I sympathize with him as a fellow Nigerian, and I do hope that we will find a solution to him. But the challenge, he fails to realize that university, that not about the certificate, but the training. How could he return the training? That is not possible. Certificate is just an evidence, but it's not the target. But because of that mentality, not thinking of returning the knowledge he acquired or the skills from first year to the year he graduated, but returning the certificate. And I think the earlier we change that mentality, the better for all of us. We go to university for training and skills. That certificate is just a validation when we are confronted with what is the evidence that you have attended that. But it should not be our prerequisite and our preference. The skills and the training should be our prerequisite and should be also our preference. Finally, I want to appreciate all of you for honoring our invitation to be here. On behalf of my principal, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, I do hope that when these facilities and infrastructure are distributed, we will make sure that we make use of them. And I do hope that with the policies we have in place, this is just the beginning of a very serious intervention, not the end. Any institution that utilizes the facilities effectively will be given higher priority in the next round of our interventions. Once again, thank you very much for honoring our invitation.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, even if we go home and sleep and we don't do anything again today, we have learned enough to take us till December 31st. Please, may we give a digital and appreciative round of applause to our trailblazing minister. Somebody said to me yesterday, I have never seen anybody that has everything. That is all I'm going to say. Ladies and gentlemen, as a part of the exercises that the Honorable Minister is going to perform today, sir, I wish you had not, well, it's not in my place to allow you, but I wish you had not gone back.
ES should. Invite ES to unveil the book and we do the remaining immediately.
Okay, sir. So we unveil the book first. Okay. So, with permission from our special guest of honor and Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, may I respectfully invite the Executive Secretary of the National Universities Commission, Professor Abubakar A. Rashid, to give us his remarks, and then the unveiling of the book will be followed immediately. Please, may I quickly announce that as the Executive Secretary finishes his remarks and we're getting ready for the unveiling, the members of the service table are enjoined to join the Honorable Minister and support him in the unveiling of this book. Thank you very much. And all Vice Chancellors here present.
Thank you. Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, our host, Professor Isa Ibrahim Ali Fantami, the Honorable Minister, FCT, the Egyptian Ambassador to Nigeria, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I think the worst thing that can happen to our speaker is to be invited to speak after the Minister of Communications, Isa Fantami. My colleagues, Vice Chancellors, can attest to this. In my last retreat with the Vice Chancellors, I invited Professor Fantami, the only one outside the university system we invited, to address the Vice Chancellors. He complained that we didn't tell him what to say initially, and that he only came because he respected us, but that he didn't know what to say. And he took the microphone. By the time he was through, every Vice Chancellor present stood up and was applauding. We were so happy. All the VCs then were so happy. And in fact, since that day, but particularly in the last few days, I started to sympathize with Professor Oti, because I'm sorry, you are going to have a very serious challenge keeping this man in your university, because no, so many vice chancellors have started talking to me now to say I should talk to him, that unless he decides to remain in government, next year they are preparing his office. Many universities are preparing offices for him to take chairs in Nigerian universities. So I don't really know what we will do. Distinguished colleagues, your excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, a lot has been said about the digital revolution and the digital divide. Digital divide globally and digital divide in Nigeria, between Nigeria and the rest of the world, and within Nigeria. Today marks a very important day for us in higher education ecosystem of this country. I know probably my brother, Professor Bogaji, may be the happiest person today because
I have had cause to request him to kindly visit me in my office to discuss an issue that has been discussed
night and day across the country, and that is the issue of skills, actually at the expense of degrees. So when you now say skills, not just degrees, is even something we'll have to debate it with Bogaji, whether it should be skills, not just degrees, or skills, not degrees at all. Your Excellencies, everybody who spoke before me identified 4 functions we are performing today. The unveiling of the brand broadband issue, which for us in university system is probably the most important intervention that will seek to transform and revitalize university education in Nigeria. We are so happy. It's not that we don't have internet facilities, but no university in the country has unlimited access to data because we cannot afford it. Not just we do not need it, we cannot afford it. So for some universities now to be inaugurated into this club of digitally literate society, we are so happy. We are very happy with the laptops going around the country because, again, they will go a long way in bridging the gap. We are celebrating the presentation, the writing of a book, probably the most important book to be written in Nigeria by Nigerians this year. The most important book. But more importantly for us in the university system, we are celebrating the minister himself. We are celebrating him not only as the author of this book, but for identifying constructively with the aspirations of the university system in Nigeria. Professor Fantami is such an interesting, very interesting figure. We believe he has a unique magnetic brain. We have tested him. I have a number of times. All he needs to do is just to take a look at some pages consisting of words and figures. And once he goes through it once or twice, he keeps it. The brain scans everything. And he stands up and starts to read out words and figures, and if you have the original text, any deviation will only be an improvement on the text, not an omission. We really are grateful to God for the gift of this man among us in the university system. And since our brother, the Minister of Abuja, one of the youngest statesmen, the Minister of Abuja is a statesman, but we always associate statesmen with old men. He is a young statesman, but he has also disclosed a gap of about 14 years, whatever that means. I don't know whether it's a gap between the two of them in terms of age. The 14 years, we are happy that the university system will continue to drink from the fountain of the minister over the next many decades. And I'm sure in the next 20 years, if the system utilizes him effectively, at least we are lucky, he cannot migrate from Nigeria. That one we are sure. There will be no brain drain regarding him. So he will have to stay in Nigeria and stay within the university system. But how we'll manage him in the system, what kind of portfolio we are going to create for him, whether he will remain in one university or he will have to be going from one university to another, digitally and physically, that one we shall work out. And for those VCs who are interested in hiring his services, I offer my consultancy free to come and see me. So, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today is a very happy day for me personally, for the Vice Chancellors present here, especially my brother, the Vice Chancellor, University of Ibadan, because I delayed him, I detained him, he was to go back yesterday. I say, come, you'll go, something will happen. And the minister had hit this very important information, which now, it is the other 17 VCs now who will be complaining, rather than him complaining. So I think we should sort out that when we go back to my office. So, Honorable Minister, we thank you very much. We are happy, we are proud, and we are happy that this book, which the reviewers, and it is very interesting, a book written by a professor of cybersecurity in the field of digital skills, being reviewed by academics and academic administrators who are not in the field, but who have now used their own experience and what is very visible. Because one beautiful thing about computing and digital skill, in a way, it's like journalism. You can read anything in your first degree. You can read medicine, engineering, economics also, and you can move into journalism. And actually, I have Professor Patti, who is probably the most celebrated mass communicator in the universities today, but he can testify that journalism is a skill that passion, hard work, and of course the gift. If you don't have flair for writing or for articulating, then please don't go into it. Computing, we have realized that many people who have not studied computer science can develop the skills of passion, and they might have read something else in the university, but they will be specialists and experts. So I'm trying to say that this book is not to be restricted to students and lecturers in the broad field of computing and information technology, but to be accessed by every Nigerian educated Nigerian and semi-educated. Unfortunately, it cannot be translated because it's very difficult to translate such technical works. Otherwise, we could request some professors in universities to translate them into Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, but we may lose a lot. I don't know, but it is a possibility because this book really needs to get onto the desk of every Nigerian, inside and outside the universities, in workplaces, in government, in media. And this is the greatest demonstration of the triple helix model we have been advocating. The triple helix model, the relationship, the interrelation, the interaction between government, academia, and the industry, the three of them coming together. And I think the Minister of Digital Economy symbolizes and epitomizes the triple helix in this country. We congratulate you, we thank you for this, and I consider it a rare privilege to hold this book and to formally present it to the public, skills rather than just degrees. And as I say, Professor Bogaji, you may suggest a little amendment to this, but I think we have all accepted the reasoning. A degree without skills today will take you nowhere. But will take you nowhere. But the minister has also clarified, we are not advocating the abolition of degrees, but we are saying we have to reform the process of obtaining the degrees. We have to embed skills into our own curriculum at all levels. And these skills is not just the hard skills, as he says, the soft skills, even the argument, critical thinking. You may be reading philosophy, you may be reading this. It's not just hands, but all types of skills. So on behalf of the National Universities Commission and the Nigerian university system, and by extension, all of us here who have taken degrees in Nigeria and outside Nigeria, I present this book in the glory of God, in the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, and praying that this book will attain and achieve its primary aim of provoking us to change the way we do things in Nigeria, the way we train our tertiary education graduates, the way we treat skills in this country. May this be the beginning of the good things to come to this country. Thank you.
Please, may I respectfully invite members of the service table, Your Excellencies, CEOs, DGs of other parastatals and agencies who have come to show support. Your Excellency, the Egyptian Ambassador, please, may we all come out to support one of our very own in unveiling, formally unveiling the book. Immediately after the formal unveiling of the book, please, multimedia, may we have the screen, the projector screen off, the big screen in the middle of the podium? Yes, because it's affecting the camera shots. After the pictures, then we can have it on. Please, can we have some of our dignitaries go up the stage so that we can have 2 rows? And everybody must have a book and hold it up. Please, can we have you raise your books and have a digital smile on your faces? Thank you. Sadiq. Sadiq. Okay. Sadiq, in ka gama ka gaya mu. Please, may we have all our dignitaries respectfully take their seats while we have the next photograph with the Executive Secretary. The Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Universities Commission and all Vice Chancellors present should please stay back for the second group photograph with the Honorable Minister. The Executive Secretary, Nigeria National Universities Commission, and all Vice Chancellors of universities present, please stay back for the second picture. While I respectfully crave your indulgence, ladies and gentlemen, to go back to your seats so that we can conclude the program. Thank you. Mama, good afternoon. Please, can we have the Executive Secretary, National Universities Commission, and all VCs present only for the second photograph? No. Only the Executive Secretary of NUC and all VCs. Sir, please. Thank you. It's too tight. Just shift a little bit. Just a little bit. So that it doesn't Honorable Minister, sir, the media has asked for a special photograph with the book, with you and the CEOs and of the parastatals and agencies you oversee. So please, can we have the CEOs of parastatals and agencies under the digital economy sector to please hold the books and come for the third group photograph. CEOs of agencies and parastatals under the Honorable Minister's purview. This one you must enter. No, this one you must enter. CEOs of agencies and parastatals under the HM's purview, please. Please, may I respectfully ask that we allow the Honorable Minister finish the group photographs. Distinguished guests, please may we allow the Honorable Minister 1 minute to take a group photograph for the media with the CEOs under the parastatals he oversees. Thank you. Please, can we have the CEOs, please, take the formation near the Honorable Minister? MD. Thank you, sir. Sir, please. Sadiq, saya bari ina kansa ke je ya ce sata ne bai so amma zai da Can we have a digital smile from the CEOs of the digital economy sector? Thank you very much. Okay, sir. So now the Honorable Minister will go on straight ahead for the launching of the broadband infrastructure, which will be symbolically handed over to representatives. I'll now call on Dr. Femi Adelui, who is the Technical Assistant, Research and Development to the Honorable Minister, to coordinate that phase. Distinguished guests, please may we have our seats so that the Honorable Minister can perform the other functions for which we are gathered here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, can we resume our seats? We're about to round up. Let's round up on a high. Yes, Minister. Yes. Please, let's resume our seats so that we can get the other activities done pronto. We still have the broadband, the unveiling and the letters to be distributed to the beneficiaries. We have the symbolic distribution of the e-pads. Then we'll close, and please don't leave. There's lunch that has been prepared for you. We don't want it to be wasted.